Welcome everyone to another action figure review, as I have the Medicom Mafex Cyborg, and this is the Zack Snyder's Justice League version, as Medicom Mafex decided to reissue the characters once again due to the Snyder Cut. So we have seen the Black Suit Superman released already. Next in line is Victor Stone, Cyborg, and I believe he is probably the character that needed a huge update as well due to many scenes deleted in the original film. And this is a relatively new figure, I guess, because it did come out about 3 or 4 months now. I just never got around to picking it up at that time. But I guess all good things are worth waiting for, and hopefully this will not disappoint, because this is probably the true Cyborg figure we need. So looking at the box and packaging, it's the same way they've done it for the Superman. It's in a black and white color, which is actually quite clever, because of course you can watch the Snyder Cut in the grey version. And it's quite simple. We have the shot of Cyborg on the side with the logo, and then on the other side as well. And looking at the front, it's very simple. It just says Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let me quickly bring in the original version. You can see it's an all color box, and it has the logo of all the other characters as well. But on the back of it, you do actually see it in color, so the figure in different poses. And then at the top we have a real shot of the actor Ray Fisher, and then at the bottom we have the sticker as well. So let's get Cyborg out of its packaging and take a closer look. So inside we get this manual to say it's a genuine product, and of course we get the usual stand. And here is the Cyborg figure inside its packaging. So here is the Zack Snyder's Justice League Cyborg out of its packaging, and of course right out of the bat they're letting you know that this is going to be a different Cyborg this time. Just looking at the head sculpt, you can already tell that this is automatically a different figure. Because of course this is the Cyborg helmet he wears in the scenes when he's flying. It was actually very emotional when he first learned to fly, and of course it was deleted in the original version. So just looking at your first impressions, you know that this is going to be different. And in terms of the build, I need to compare it with the original one, but looking at it you can see that the paint is a lot brighter. The silvers really pop a lot more compared to the original. And in terms of the build, I think it might even be different as well. It feels very sturdy, quite heavy as well. I'm not sure it's because I haven't moved the joints yet, but in terms of how it feels in hand, it's actually a pretty solid figure. And let me quickly bring in the original Cyborg, and you can see that the paint color is very different. It's a lot darker in the original version. I guess it's kind of personal preference. This one is a lot more shinier, brighter. And even the paint in the chest area is lighter as well. And in terms of the build, it's very similar, but I can actually see that it's slightly different as well. Let me bring it closer to the camera. I think the way they built it is almost the same, but you can see that it's slightly different. And looking at the front, of course, one has the helmet and one doesn't, so that's already automatically a difference. So in terms of the first look, of course, this is actually an excellent figure. So now let's take a look at the accessories, starting off with the alternative head sculpts. So obviously I removed the helmet version for the original standard look of Victor Stone. And I'll say that for Medicom Mafex, they've done a great job for their DC figures. Even the live action ones, the head sculpts are pretty accurate. I would say this is no different. I would say that this is very accurate to Ray Fisher. Looking at the original version, I didn't think it could get any better. You can see it's actually slightly different as well, the way they've sculpted it. And the Snyder Cut version is even better than the original, which I thought was not possible. So yeah, it's great that this one is improved even more. And here is the second head sculpt, which is the emotional one. Kind of a angry face, or slightly sad, I guess. And looking at it, of course, this is also very accurate. And in the original one, they also included the same head sculpts. I would say that the original one is probably looking a bit more even sadder, but then the new one maybe not as much. And again, I would say the Snyder Cut version is even more accurate. Yeah, I guess it's kind of different compared to the standard head sculpts. This one kind of has a bigger difference from the two. So I like both of them, but kind of feel that the Snyder Cut one is a bit more accurate. In terms of the alternative hands, so right out of the packaging it does include the closed fist. So it does include a set of open palms, as well as a set of grapple hands. And the last set includes a slightly closed grapple hands. And this is the same number as the original Cyborg figure. And next we can switch up his launchers for both the right and left hand. And this gives Cyborg the in-battle look, or when he's flying in the air. And this of course is also included in the original one. As you can see, we have the short one on the left side and then the long one on the right with the red lights. So for this one, of course, we get two short ones, and then we also get the long one as well. So there's another improvement in the Snyder Cut version, and this one's actually painted blue. So yeah, this is a great addition. And the other accessory included is the shield for Cyborg. So we did see this in the original one, so obviously you just switch out the right arm for it, and this one is painted for this particular Cyborg. This is a pretty important look, I guess, for the battle scenes, so I'm glad they've also included it once again. And the next accessory is obviously the mechanical arms, and this of course was not included in the original movie, let alone the original figure. So this is the main bonus, the one that really elevates the look of Cyborg. And of course this is probably the main selling point of this figure. So what you do is you punch out the two plastic pieces and you match up the mechanical arms to the back. So here it is. Once you plug in the mechanical arms, you get the ultimate look of Cyborg, and this of course was not included in the original figure, and it's probably one of the main reasons a lot of people would want this, is because this is the look he has when he's fighting Superman or Steppenwolf, and it's a great look basically with the extra arms. There was some slight QC issues when I had to plug it in. Would have been better if it was just one piece to take out, but there was two, so you kind of have to balance it on both sides. The connection could have been slightly better, but you can see that it has a great look. There's also articulation. Let me take it out just to show you. There's a full kind of arm bend both ways as well. You can turn it and then you can bend it this much, and then the hands also plug out and you can take it in as well, turn it. So this is a great accessory to have. And the final accessory included is the mother box, which is the same one as the original one. So now for the articulation, and starting off with the head sculpt. So it can go side to side and it can go around and round. It can also tilt left and right, and then downwards this much and upwards quite a lot for those flight poses. And then for the arms, the shoulder pads do move up, so you can move the arms side to side, and they go forwards very simple and backwards very smooth, and outwards this much, inwards slightly. And there's also the arm rotation, and we also have the bend. And then for the hands there's rotation, and there's also a slight hinge. And now for the body, so it can swivel side to side very smooth, and it can tilt left and right as well. And then for the crunch, forwards this much, backwards slightly. There's also a rotation on the waist, and it can also go side to side. And then for the legs, they kick forwards and backwards slightly. So out of the box it is quite stiff, but there is a rotation, and there's also a bend for the knees. There's also a twist on the foot, and there's also side to side movement. There's also a slight hinge on the toes as well. So yeah, there is standard articulation for Cyborg, and it seems to be okay, I guess, for most of his poses. So now for the size comparison, starting off next to the Medicom Mafex, The Flash and Aquaman from the Justice League, as well as next to the Mafex Justice League Wonder Woman and the Zack Snyder's Justice League Superman. And here it is next to the SH Figuarts Justice League Superman and the Justice League Batman. And here it is next to the McFarlane Toys Zack Snyder's Justice League figures with the Batman and the Flash. So now for my final thoughts on the latest Cyborg by Mafex. This is a very good figure overall, as it's everything from the original version but improved. Firstly, the look is very accurate with a more shine to the overall paint. The head sculpt is also very accurate, even though the original one was good enough, but these ones seem to be even better. Of course, we also get the extras like the helmet, which we didn't see in the original one, and also the extra launcher arms. The mechanical arms is what really sells this figure and really gives it a great look. The only thing was the connection could have been better, but it is a small issue. So if you don't have the original Cyborg, this is definitely the one to go for, because simply this is the better figure. And I think the only improvements I would have done is maybe switched up the mother box, like give it some sort of light effects. So my score is an 8 out of 10, and this is the Cyborg from the Snyderverse, and I'm really excited to see the rest of the releases. Be sure to also check out my review on the Superman figure, as well as the news on the latest Batman release. Thanks for watching.